So today I'll be talking about world building with dynamic NFTs. My name is Shannon Chen See. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at Async Art. Actually, Random Bits just mentioned us. We are a creation platform for art and music NFTs. We've worked with, the OGs such as Xcopy, Coldy, Josie Bellini, as well as emerging artists, as we're open to everyone to use. All right, so to start, why dynamic NFTs? So obviously in the last bull run, we saw incredible activity in the space. However, an issue that we ran into was asset inflation. So if I'm an artist or a team and I release a collection, what happens after that? Do I release another collection? How do I continue to bring people back to the same NFT? That is a critical question I think a lot of communities have been left with, especially in the current market conditions. And so this problem of asset inflation, we think the solution to this is dynamic collections, where you can have your community take agency over their NFT and continue to expand on the same NFT. Think of it as a one NFT to rule them all type model. So what this means for the new creator economy is, instead of currently, you have one creator with all of their community, and they're pushing out content unidirectionally to all of their community. In the new model that we're proposing, you'll have the creator with all of their community, but the community is actually interacting with each other, and they're also feeding back into this world that the creator has set rails around to really, continue to sustain the community. And their community, their fans, can act also as content creators to feed back into this world that the core creator has made. So that's the new model we're proposing for NFTs in terms of dynamic NFTs. And then I'll show you an example of this. So this is just a hypothetical example. Suppose I'm a music label and I have a whole roster of, different musicians. What I could do right now is each of those musicians could release their own collection or their own NFT. And if they wanted to collab, then it's another NFT. So you see that asset inflation problem that we've talked about. What is an alternative here with dynamic NFTs is that you could actually release these cores, what we call cores. They're essentially just like an empty container NFT. They're a 721. So this is an example of a core here. Imagine all of these, the background, the record player, the disc are all empty slots that could actually be exchanged with other NFTs built on top of them. So you see here, you have the expansion trait NFTs, which are 1155s. And so now, bringing it back to the music label, instead of releasing continuous collections with all my different musicians, each of those musicians can release different records, as you see here. And those can still be integrated back into the original NFT. So we really think this is an interesting model because it brings people back to the original. NFT is not just some static JPEG sitting in our wallets, right? People can play, and so you'll see here with the world, you'll have everyone in the community who has one of these cores kind of deciding, hey, I want to show this record off, or I want to show this record off. And it now becomes a method of self-expression for the community. So that's kind of a dynamic NFT architecture. Let's see like a hypothetical example. And one other thing to add here actually is that each of these slots, what's interesting about the slot model is you could actually control who has access to create on top of different slots. So say, for example, for the music label, they only want to keep the records to their musicians, but maybe they actually want to open up the background slot to their whole community so that, smaller artists or musicians could create on top of this world and potentially be discovered within the rails of this world. So yeah, that's kind of how we see this architecture playing out. And for a real life example, potentially is Adventure Time. It's a great TV show. But you'll see here we have Finn, the human. So say, for example, I'm Adventure Time and I want to release this starter pack with Finn, the different backgrounds. And so at launch, different people can show different backgrounds, for example. So I would say, oh, I want the yellow background, or someone else could say, hey, I actually prefer this pink background to show this off. How could they continue to expand on this? Well, in season 2, they could actually release other characters. So if you're familiar with Adventure Time, you know the beloved, you know the beloved Jake the dog here, and you could actually put him into your NFT, as well as you could release, say, accessories for the NFT to, now have. So this is an expansion upon the same NFT, and in somewhat of like a slow release format that's more engaging for a community. And then finally, say for example, Adventure Time wants to partner with another brand, such as The Simpsons, for example. So you'll see here we could bring Homer Simpson into the world, and yeah, you have Homer Simpson now living within Adventure Time's realm or world that they've created. So overall, that's a high level on kind of what we're working on at Async. And just to get you thinking, there's many different potential use cases of this. If you're a gallery or a curator, say for example, you have this gallery NFT here, and all those different slots could be, you could have different artists release on different slots, for example, and then your community could kind of curate their own gallery to show off their favorite favorite artists. And then in terms of music, I think there's really interesting use cases around multiplayer music, where you could have stems released and have people create their own remixes. And then in terms of other things, the possibilities are pretty much endless in terms of potential loyalty programs, or how do you show people's identity? How do you represent your visual identity online? What assets have you had access to that now signal something about you? These are all things that we believe strongly that NFTs are a digital identity signifier, and so this is where, the future of NFTs is gonna go. Last thing is just what now? So Async is working on dynamic NFTs, obviously. Next week we're actually releasing Forever Supper, which is the biggest ongoing crypto art collaboration. We're gonna be having over 50 artists to start, but some of the names you recognize, such as Gremplin, Coldy, Hackatow, all the big guys, Rip Cash, and such things like that. So it's going to be a celebration, not just the big artists, but all artists that we really want to bring in and see how we can make this an ongoing, evergreen collection that lives on forever, and that constantly brings people back to the same thing rather than creating more things. That's me. If you want to connect with me, I'm watching See on Twitter. And take care. Bye-bye.